Hello, I'm James, and tonight's game is World of Horror. Let's begin. Nice and bright. And nice and spooky with the 2-bit mode. Okay, random timeline. Cultist difficulty. Last stand mode. Customize everything we've got. City of Shiokawa, Japan, 1980X. Something strange is happening in our town. Robed figures can be seen gathering in the woods at night. People are going missing. Disgusting creatures are terrorizing the seaside. The rapid technological progress of the modern era brings comfort, but also new, unknown threats. Old gods, malicious eldritch beings who ruled the earth eons ago, are awakening as reality starts to crumble. Armed with clues, spells, and your dwindling sanity, you'll investigate mysteries across the city, and in realms beyond. An old train slows down and stops at its last station. The end of the world is at hand. You've finally arrived in the doomed town. Random character. Random backstory. Random timeline. Generic and character exclusive only. Stats randomization off. Classic mode again. Somewhere, a group of people gathers, trying to awaken their master. Let's go with Ethotu this time. The supposed cause of destruction of the Library of Alexandria, a perfect black marble statue, has been recently discovered and is currently waiting in the Museum of for its long-awaited premiere. Entropy, both your damage and your enemies, is increased. Backstory, the Seventh Curse, again. And a new spell, Void. That's a potentially useful one. The curse continues to follow you. Your family is cursed. Everyone around you will die. Start the playthrough with more funds. Can't have any human allies. Let's randomize again. Check your mailbox. It's empty. Nothing in the drawer, looks like. No items, one spell, no Series Mythology. The TV host is gutting a big octopus. At least that's what she claims. There are way too many tentacles. What's that? Probably just my imagination. You stand before a mirror, wondering which outfit to wear. Pleasant, curious, casual shirt, 60s, teenage, abusive 86. Sort of curious. Experience. And let's begin. Inexplicable and morbid events have been plaguing the town for some time now. We've marked down 5 of them, hoping that there is something connecting them. Check the button. Okay. Maybe a little louder. Yeah, I think this should be good. Okay. Inexplicable and morbid events have been plaguing your town for some time now. You've marked down 5 of them, hoping that there is something connecting them. You can tackle these 5 mysteries in any order you want. Beware, your decisions will haunt you, and influence yet unsolved mysteries. Nightmare news of the noisy nails. Alarming account of abnormal arms. Bloody brief of a beckoning bulletin. Far-out fable of a fear festival. And curious case of a contagious coma. Let's start with the nails. In this. Nightmare news of the noisy nails. The morbid killing spree continues as another body is found in the city's river. Every victim shares one common trait. Their finger and toenails are missing. They've been pried off. Why nails? Could the killer have a hidden motive? Are they sending a message? You must hurry up before they claim another victim. Is there even anything useful left? You rummage through your belongings, trying to find anything that will help you. You finally pick up Curie's bag. Hopefully it will be enough. Gonna need this too. Yep, the dog still barks. And An empty bottle. Gonna need that for the next mystery. With no leads, a trip to the police station could be useful. Your friend's cousin works there and she could help you. Time is of the essence, so you decide to take a shortcut through the abandoned building site. The investigation is taking a toll on you. You start to miss the most obvious leads. Or do. Interesting. We just got started and it's already taking a toll on us. Reluctantly, your friend's cousin gives you a photocopied file. You thank her and leave quickly. The school building seems like a safe place to study the file. Getting access to the student database would certainly speed up your investigation, but the receptionist would never allow it. If only there was a way to make her go away for a while. Charisma, success. Unannounced inspection? She asks. Thank you for telling me. While the receptionist is busy updating some boring papers, you copy some names and addresses from the database. 10 experience. You know what, let's grab a spell or two. Interpreting the old, incomplete translations is a tedious task. Finally, you find the fragment you were looking for. Gained a new spell, the Kanafa Ritual. Sure. And protective carvings. Reduces damage during combat encounters. Another useful one. Okay, looks like I can only have one ritual up at a time. The victims of the serial killer seem to be chosen randomly. There's no obvious pattern in regard to age, sex, and education. You should continue your search in a hospital where the victims are. You are stopped by a tall man wearing a dirty kabuki mask. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. Give me your fingers. You hesitate, seeing something metallic in the man's hand. Dexterity failure. You try to run, but trip and fall to the ground. The masked man jumps on you and rips off a couple of your nails with a pair of pliers. Why? -2 stamina. Someone's calling me. You try to sneak into the mortuary, but the hospital staff is on high alert. You decide to wait here a bit. Maybe you'll manage to find a way in. While taking an elevator, you get a terrible feeling, as if something bad is about to happen. The elevator doors open. Luck. Failure. Elevator doors open, revealing a massive black mass of eyes and teeth pouring into the elevator, biting and suffocating you. Later, you wake up in a doctor's office. The nurse discovered you lying unconscious on the elevator floor, -3 reason. One of the mortuary technicians acts strangely. He has left the building and returned twice already. Each time he comes back, an ambulance with a new victim arrives. On your way to the next destination, you stop the tall man wearing a kabuki mask. He is talking to a woman, slowly reaching into his pocket. You decide to act quickly and run between the pair, screaming. The panicked woman flees, but the masked man grabs you by your neck. Before you can protest, he takes a pair of pliers out of his pocket and rips off one of your nails. Why? -1 stamina. You notice that the man keeps his hospital key in a back pocket. If you could seal it, entering the hospital would be so much easier. Despite your best efforts, you feel like the neighborhood is starting to change. Location's threat level increases. What's this? -1 modifier to all skill checks. Oh, I'm sorry. You excuse yourself after bumping into the man. He frowns and hurries away, not noticing that you've managed to steal his hospital keys. You meet with your friend who has recently started her nurse practice. You lazily chat on the roof of the hospital, watching the sunset. Now would be the perfect opportunity to ask about the recent unearthly events. Sometimes it's better not to know. You chat until your friend's break is over. +1 reason. It's getting dark, and the suspicious man has not returned yet. Now is your only chance to check out the mortuary and learn about the serial killer's victims. Using the hospital key, you've managed to enter the mortuary floor unnoticed. The hospital floor is eerily quiet. You prepare your weapon, wondering what's going to happen next. The whole room has a pungent, irritating smell you can barely stand. All the dissection tables are empty, and you're afraid to think where the bodies are now. You must hurry up before the suspected killer returns back. The masked man jumps from behind the door, and you barely dodge his blade. I can't let you leave this room. Are you going to become his last victim? Okay, 3 regular attacks. This one can be double boosted. Yeah, save that one. Kabuki Killer slashes you across the face. You've defeated Kabuki Killer. The dreaded Kabuki Killer finally falls to the ground, dead. You alert hospital staff, and soon the whole floor is swarming with police. After a brief interrogation, you're free to go. 2 questions still remain. What did the killer do with the nails of his victims? And who find a small key? What is it doing in there? Someone is standing in the shadow, watching your door. With an icon almost identical to the killer encounter. Interesting. What's that? Probably just my imagination. Once a year, a ramen shop appears where there was once an alleyway. The ramen sold inside is made from its former patrons, but can cure any health problem. Okay, fill the bottle. And we definitely need more stamina. Okay, next up. Let's try the coma case. Curious case of a contagious coma. More and more people fall unconscious and cannot be awakened. People who try to wake the patients up only end up falling into a coma themselves. A whole wing of the town's hospital has been dedicated to warding the comatose. Is there anything connecting these people, and how did this strange illness start? Let's rest a bit. It certainly feels good to be back at home. You bandage up the fresh wounds. You phone your best friend and talk about unrelated stuff. 2 stamina, 2 reason. Time flies by so fast. You prepare yourself to leave and continue your long investigation. 3 doom. Let's check the news reports about this weird disease and try to find the cause before more people fall asleep. Dark forces scheme against you. You don't know who you can trust anymore. Gained a curse. The Inzmasu look. The ocean is calling. Chance of a negative effect with each seaside investigation. Reports mention a patient 0. Who could they be? World of Terror. Through the dirty restaurant window, you notice a shady-looking man wearing a jacket covered in strange symbols. He stops in front of a house, visibly nervous. Before he enters the house, he turns around as if he's checking for any unwanted followers. What could it mean? Okay, we know what happens if we follow him. Charisma, failure. You can't convince the police officer to take you seriously, and by the time you manage to find a willing cop, the house is empty. Minus one reason. You need to sneak into the hospital and borrow the information about Patient Zero. When the patient came home one morning, covered in scars and babbling about aliens, police had them committed. They're mumbling something quietly as you pass by. Charisma, success. You immediately understand that the only difference between you and the crazy person is that you haven't been caught yet. You convince them to sneak out and join you on your quest. Gained an ally. New ally has gained you, Kazumi. Kazumi tripped and broke their neck. Yes, that's what the 7th curse does. You've got their name and address. Let's get out of here. They performed countless dissections to find the answer. Instead, they found it. The anatomy horror. Okay. This is apparently some kind of ghost. Let's try 5 claps. Anatomy horror attacks you. Nothing happens. You think you got 3 moves right. Three moves right again. One of those was right. Okay, so... Let me think about this. Three claps. And clap, bow, clap. Clap, bow, clap had exactly 1 right. And then... yes, clap, clap, bow, clap, bow. That was it. Okay, self-therapy. Forgetting spells regains extra reason. That's one of our uniques, so probably a good idea to grab it. And I think a boost to dexterity would be good. Or, no, we definitely need more stamina now. Patient Zero's house seems empty. You should search it carefully. Yatsuhaka Mura. It's getting dark as you arrive at the cemetery, and shadows move in fantastic and unaccountable ways between the tombstones. Finding the right grave may prove to be a challenge, especially when you feel someone's gaze upon your back. Perception, success. You quickly find the tombstone marked with red string. Under a stone, you find a note someone left for you. 5 experience. That man dabbled in magic. You found a journal describing a certain village and instructions for a summoning ritual. It seems that he tried to contact an entity from the dream realms. Experts are baffled by the sudden appearance of 20 stone statues lined up in a row in the middle of the park. You can cast one spell without paying anything. The quarantine wing is guarded closely. You must find a way to sneak through. As part of the therapy, some patients took part in art classes. Some of their work fills you with dread. -2 reason. There it is. Let's hope you find an answer here. You've managed to sneak through the floor while avoiding the police and finally reach the quarantine wing, where all the coma patients were brought in. Their pulses are slowly weakening, and their blood pressure dropping. You must hurry. The complete silence of this place hits you when you reach one of the beds. All the patients are dead. -3 reason. Shaken, you sneak out of the hospital. One thing is certain, though. With no sick people left alive, it's the end of this weird illness. Curious case of a contagious coma. Ending B. Rewards for solving this mystery. Knowledge is key, 30 experience. There's still hope, -3 doom. 1 day passes. The old god stirs. Blood moon. The crimson moon spotted over Shiokawa keeps everyone on edge. All enemies get an additional 20 power. Inside your mailbox, you find a small key. What is it doing in there? Back in your home, you think of your next move. It has been raining since morning. You don't see anything weird. Demolition of an old inner-city shrine has resulted in an array of unfortunate accidents and, most recently, the death of 6 people suspected of arson. Okay. Let's go for first bottle, then reason. Okay, next up, abnormal arms. Alarming account of abnormal arms. I remember when it started. The woman next door was strangled to death in her bed, with no sign of forced entry. The killer was never found, and the apartment remained vacant. Okay. Let's rest a bit. You swallow the painkillers. You sit on a couch and read your favorite book. Time flies by so fast. You prepare yourself to leave and continue your long investigation. The door to her apartment was closed and she lived alone. What other ways in are there? Maybe you can get the apartment plan to compare with other flats. Your path is blocked by a rotting corpse covered in poison ivy. Suta-chan. Suta-chan bites you in the arm. Suta-chan whips you with a vine. Defeated Suta-chan, 12 experience. The apartment is on the 3rd floor. There is no way somebody used the window to escape the murder scene. Mask Festival. As you glance around, you notice that more and more people are wearing strange masks, unlike anything you've ever seen before. As you turn to your friends for reassurance, you notice that some also wear these eerie masks. Their voices sound muffled and distorted. You can't shake off the feeling that they're not quite themselves. The hairs on the back of your neck stand on end. You realize something is terribly wrong. You can't help but wonder what lies behind the masks that conceal the faces of the people around you. Are these even the people they claim to be, or are they just masquerading as something they're not, hiding their true identities behind the masks that they wear? And as to reason. You notice the odd placement of ventilation shafts. They seem too small for anyone to crawl through, though. When you stop by home to pick up your lunch, you find a pile of letters in your mailbox. What's that? You've attracted the attention of something truly evil. You should interview the neighbors. Maybe you'll discover something the police missed. As you inspect a marking on a wall, a random man shouts at you, hurling insults at you and requesting a fight. He appears to be delirious, probably under the effects of some kind of drug. Charisma, success. Despite his altered state, the man hears you out as you calmly explain you just want to pass through. He takes a step to the side, although reluctantly, -2 doom. Use a little more rest. You bandage up the fresh wounds. You phone your best friend and talk about unrelated stuff. One neighbor is complaining about her missing underwear. You return home to freshen up. When you enter your bathroom, however, you discover that your shower is missing. In its place, there's an old clawfoot tub. The whole thing feels surreal, but you take a step towards it, wondering how this is possible. Luck, failure. The water in the bathtub suddenly gets murky and dark. Are you bathing in blood? -2 reason. You take a short nap on your bed. You phone your best friend and talk about unrelated stuff. Hello? Now we're mostly looking good. Just Inzmasu look. Another neighbor is complaining about weird noises coming from the vents when she's at home. A photo event. Upcoming exhibition. The museum started hanging up posters promoting the Greek art exhibition, unaware of the danger. The opening night may prove to be the last night for all of us. The photo is coming, and now you know the date. 3 Doom, 10 Experience. Let's check the building plan to find out if there's a place where all the vents connect. Wandering through an empty corridor, you find an old vending machine. You don't recognize the brands of soda that's inside, but you could really use a drink. The taste seems a little odd, but you enjoy the drink anyway. -1 funds. Every room is connected by vents coming from the unused boiler room. Could it be? You enter the dark boiler room, trip over the pipe. Cursing, you find a light switch, and gasp in horror. It's not a pipe at all. It's a long, rubbery arm coiling around the room and ending in a ventilation shaft. Moving closer, you can smell something vile and rotten. You almost fall to the ground, and you see the wide-open stare of dead pervert, his elongated limbs stretching and disappearing into the vent's darkness. After the police arrive, the whole building gets searched. Following the arms, the detectives find the body of a man stuck in a ventilation shaft. Later, he is identified as the building caretaker. In his closet, police find pieces of underwear and voyeuristic photos of the tenants. You are questioned thoroughly and eventually released as the murder case is covered up as being a case of an unfortunate gas leak. Alarming account of abnormal arms, ending A. Knowledge is key, 30 experience. There's still hope, -3 doom. 1 day passes. And another level. Second sight, additional damage against ghost and eldritch enemies. Or Arcane Grasp, additional spell slots. Let's go with Arcane Grasp. And boost dexterity, in case we need it. The old god stirs. The air feels heavy, making it hard to breathe. Your rest action is less effective. Inside your mailbox, you find a small key. What is it doing in there? What's that? Probably just my imagination. Once a year, a ramen shop appears where there was once an alleyway. The ramen sold inside is made from its former patrons, but can cure any health problem. More water, and let's take a cold bath for a reason. New item, an empty bottle. The ghost gray mist envelops the whole town. Okay. Next up, the bloody brief of a beckoning bulletin. As the decades roll on, technology has only developed further. These days, computer bulletin board software allows computers to communicate over phone lines. This is taking place in 1984, by the way. All it takes is a computer and a modem, and anybody can connect to a bulletin system, or even host one of their own. Once you connect, you can read all of the messages on that bulletin, and even post your own to start a conversation. Many use them to share files, or to chat about their favorite topics. Everything from video games, to sports, to idol culture. In the wake of a sudden string of weird suicides, things aren't all fun and games. Rumors have surfaced that the deaths are linked to a bulletin system operated from somewhere within Shiokawa. What is behind the suicides? How could so many people all be driven to take their own lives? Even if the rumored bulletin system's phone number is found, there is no hope to investigate without a computer that can connect to it. Let's hit the library. Regeneration. That's a useful one. And Shadow Shroud. Can ignore threat levels. Even if the rumored bulletin system's phone number is found, there is no hope to investigate without a computer that can connect to it. Maybe the school library has one that will work. Guest. Ooh. While the school library's computer doesn't have a modem, you happen to bump into a member of the computer club while asking around. She apparently just got a new system and is willing to let you borrow hers. Thanking her, you arrange to meet at her home in the city. The investigation is starting to take a toll on your health. You feel like you're about to fall asleep standing up. How do you address your weakened state? The world may be falling apart, but you really needed that. 1 stamina, 1 reason, 2 doom. You lug the cardboard box full of PC parts up your apartment stairs, teeth clenched as you heave it 1 step at a time. God damn, a computer's heavy. Again, 1984. You were planning out your next steps. It got you thinking about everything that needs to be done, and everything that could happen, and then every awful thing that's already happened, and now all you can think about is just how scary and horrible things are. Charisma, success. You shuffle off somewhere you won't be noticed, and let the tears gush out. This is one of our personal events, by the way. Eventually, you shakily get to your feet. You still don't feel too great, but for now, at least it's out of your system. 3 reason. You wipe the sweat from your brow as you finally finish setting up the computer in your bedroom. After a few tests, you're now certain that everything is functional. The newscaster on the TV says that the suicide rate is still climbing. Worse, the morbid trend is beginning to catch on in other nearby towns. You need to act quickly. Not wanting to wait for an elevator, you decide to take the rarely used stairs. You suddenly trip but grab the railing at the last second. When you get up to inspect what caused you to trip, you freeze in terror. It is slowly standing up. A twisted corpse. Let's see, here it goes. Clap, clap, bow, clap, bow. Yes. But it did manage to get a bite out of us. You've defeated Twisted Corpse. Hoping to find a lead, you head to the hospital. With how many deaths there have been, the hospital is in chaos. The staff look exhausted, and the receptionist lets her head down onto the desk for a minute. You slip out of the waiting room and into the hospital corridors. Walking through the hospital corridor, you are stopped by an older man with a cast on his leg. Could you help me go down these stairs? Dexterity, success. Takes you some time, but you successfully help the man and bring him a wheelchair. He thanks you and smiles. You overhear 2 nurses talking about a girl whose suicide attempt failed. Apparently, she's recovering at her grandparents' home at the village in the city outskirts. You exit the hospital and make your way to the nearest bus stop. Petty thief. While you walk through the crowded space, someone bumps into you and quickly apologizes. Before you realize your wallet is missing, the thief is long gone. -2 funds. As you pull into the village bus stop, a news story comes on the bus driver's radio. An entire class of Shiokawa students leapt in front of a train hand in hand. You move urgently as you exit the bus and begin searching down the village streets. Walking through the village, you're suddenly pulled behind a building. 2 menacing-looking masked figures block your escape. Do you serve the old ones? Okay, let's try this. Yes. We knew it! The prophecies were true! The masked figures relax a bit, taking off their masks. We apologize for this, Master. 2 allies, 7 doom. A new ally has joined you, Yoichi. A new ally has joined you, Fujiko. Yoichi tripped and broke their neck. Fujiko fell out a window. When you find the girl's house, the grandparents greet you solemnly. They thank you for your effort to stop the deaths. Forgive her grandfather says as he leads you to her bedroom. She's a kind girl. Something has happened to her. Mortal attempts. Ethotu event. Walking to your destination, you happened to see a team of firefighters trying to stop a fire inside of an alcohol store. Products inside possibly made the fire worse. One of the firefighters near the fire truck, yelling into a walkie-talkie, visibly panicked. Perception failure. Try your hardest to make something out of the flames inside the store, but don't see anything. Suddenly a burst of smoke comes out of the building, engulfing you in the thick black smoke. Minus 2 stamina. The recovering girl is more than happy to not only confirm the bulletin's existence, but to give you its number. You have to do what it tells you. Trust me, you won't regret a thing. She beams at you as her grandmother struggles to make her swallow the pain medication. I'll be back to join you all soon. Wait for me, okay? Disquieted, you give the grandparents your phone number and hastily leave. Hilltop Shrine. This trail to an abandoned Shinto shrine is overgrown and steep. However, it could be an important place to investigate. Strength failure. You hurt your knee badly when you step on the loose stone and fall down. You limp back to the village to get the injury checked. Minus 2 stamina. As soon as you arrive home, you dial the number, put the handset onto the modem. Your heart pounds as the computer fans exhale. The system hums. You hear a brief dial tone. 1984. And then it finally connects. Welcome home. Did you like it so far? I'm glad. Take your phone off the modem and put it to your ear. You listen to the staticky signal on the other end. It's harsh to your ear. But then, the noise slowly begins to change into something beautiful. You want to join it. Together. Can't run. No special actions, it looks like. We can get off a 4th attack. So we can. Join the voices. Why should you resist? Join the voices. It will all be over soon. You wrench the phone from your ear, nearly tossing it across the room. You could have killed yourself for that thing. Sweat pouring down your face, you immediately yank the computer's plug from the socket. From the bulletin's number and a phone book, you find the system operator's address. When you enter the cramped apartment, you're met with a smiling, hanged teenager and a still running, unplugged computer. You smash it to pieces. With the root cause eventually gone, the suicides eventually slow. While you couldn't save those already in its thrall, you're relieved to know the bulletin won't take any more victims. Bloody brief of a beckoning bulletin, ending B. Knowledge is key, 30 experience. There's still hope, -3 doom. Tireless, 1 reason, 1 stamina. 1 day passes. The old god stirs. With more and more students going missing, the police have restricted access to the school's building. The library, additional actions disabled. Good thing we got those spells when we did. Inside your mailbox, you find a small key. What is it doing in there? Another day begins. Someone is standing in the shadow, watching your door. A minor earthquake in the seaside region has revealed an entrance to a partially flooded cavern system. Local scientists believe some of the corridors could be man-made. Okay. Bath. Water. Drink it. And cold water. Okay, new level. Okay. What's coming up? Folklore studies. Seems like it might be useful. And some reason, because we will die if we don't get it back up. Okay, all that's left is the far-out fable of a fear festival. Your aunt has sent you a letter, inviting you for a curious-sounding festival. It's held every 27 years in a small village. You don't like the sound of it, but your parents both agree. You need a break from all the stress. Inside the letter, there's a bus ticket. What's the worst thing that could happen? You ask yourself as you board the bus. Worst thing that could happen is that you could ask that, of course. Today's goal: explore the weird village. Just when you thought your stomach couldn't handle it anymore, the janky old bus stops at its destination. You get up and take a deep breath before looking around. It's a small village and the nearby fields are surrounded by a thick forest. Day 1, morning. Your group has arrived in the village and is currently unpacking at the inn, giving you some time to explore. The festival begins in the evening. The inn's room is dusty, like it hasn't seen any visitors in years. You wonder if anyone cleaned it since the last festival 27 years ago. There's a folder of available activities lying on the table. Nonsense sounds good. The hot spring feels great. Finally, you can relax for a bit and enjoy the warm water. +2 stamina. Rest a bit, +2 stamina. But should you be resting at all, +1 doom. The festival grounds are now open for visitors. Maybe you should check it out. There's still some time before the festival starts. The locals are seemingly busy setting up stands and decorating the place. A few stands are already open, but you can't shake off the feeling something is wrong. It's getting late. There, would you like to test your luck at this fine game? Luck success. We've got a winner! The creepy vendor hands you your prize. See you soon! 2 funds. You break out into a cold sweat when you see the street vendor's twisting grimace. You back off, wishing it was only a mask, -1 reason. Today's goal: learn more about the festival itself. A weird sound wakes you up. You step closer to the window and look out. You can't see anything and get ready to go back to bed when suddenly the moon comes from behind the thick clouds. 3 hooded figures are standing at the forest's edge. One by one, they light their torches and disappear behind the trees. What was that about? The weird sounds coming from the forest kept you up at night. What could it mean? Okay. Let's do the onsen. And there, would you like to test your luck at this fine game again? A special prize for you! The creepy vendor hands you a map of the village. One building is marked with a red circle. Someone is watching you from behind the trees. You're not ready to go there yet. We've got a winner! Again. More funds. Today's goal, unknown. Going back to the inn, you overhear 2 masked villagers. They're talking about something awakening at the next dawn. You wonder what's up with that. Villagers seem to follow your every step here. Relax. Rest a bit. 1 stamina, 1 reason. But should you be resting at all? 3 doom. Weird sounds from the forest. Keep you up at night. What could it all mean? Break out into a cold sweat when you see the street vendor's twisted grimace. You back off, wishing it was only a mask. Seem to be alternating between these 2 events. Weird. Why is it so quiet all of a sudden? Is that blood? Where is everybody? Night 3. Today's goal: find the missing people. Trail of blood and sickly smelling sludge leads to the outskirts of the village. Somewhere in the dark forest, there's an answer waiting for you. 4 actions until sunrise. Bloody sweater. Walking through the woods, you discover a sweater. It's torn apart and covered in blood, but where is the owner? Wild beast must have killed this poor person. You say a quick prayer before continuing. You're walking in circles. The shape shimmers beneath the surface. With a splashy sound, something emerges from the murky depths. The leech girl. This is unlikely to go well for us. Let's run. 2 actions until sunrise. Walking in circles. Rest a bit. 1 stamina regained. No reason. But should you be resting at all? Or doom? Strange woman. Wandering through the forest, you encounter a woman standing under the tree. She looks at you and smiles. "What's on your mind, dear?" she asks, as if she knew you. Charisma failure. "I know, watching your struggle is indeed fascinating." The woman replies, oddly calm, her face vibrating, cracking under smile turning into a malevolent grin. You back away in shock, realizing this woman isn't human. Redoom. Okay, let's put our bag in storage and start forgetting some spells. Alright. 1 action until sunrise. Start to recognize some of the paths and rocks you've seen earlier. Exploring the forest is exhausting. It's getting dark, so you decide to get back to the main road, but where is that? Are you lost? Knowledge success. Luckily, it doesn't take long before you stumble upon a sign pointing you in the right direction. You really should be more careful in the future. 10 experience. Sunrise. An abandoned factory. This must be the place they took everyone. The sun is slowly rising as you get closer to the abandoned industrial building. Cautiously entering the factory, you can't help but notice the forest has become totally silent. You were not the only one trying to stop the ritual and save your friends. Special forces have raided the occult hideout, arresting the suspects. Led outside, the handcuffed cult leader suddenly stops. "You are too late," they say in a raspy voice. "Our Lord is free once more." -2 stamina. Far Out Fable of a Fear Festival, Ending B. Later that day, after an interrogation, the detectives let you go free. Festival guests are still missing to this day. You board the old bus, wondering exactly what happened out there. Ritual. The being wants more. Knowledge is key, 30 experience. There's still hope, -3 doom. 1 day passes. The old god stirs. Time skip. What? I've sworn it was Monday, not Tuesday, right? And looks like we've failed this run. Inside your mailbox you find a small key. What is it doing in there? You don't see anything weird. Local dentist has been found guilty of implanting dog teeth on their human patients. Motive is currently unknown. You scrub yourself, but you'll never be clean again. The ominous lighthouse closed down for longer than normal. Multiple padlocks prevent you from entering the building. You need 5 keys. You finally made it inside the cursed lighthouse. Your gut is telling you 2 things. That whoever or whatever is behind the weird events must be on the highest floor of this place, and that you should run away from this place as far and as fast as you can. You're afraid there won't be a way back once you start climbing these stairs. You're too late. When you arrive at the museum, You're too late. When you arrive at the museum, the firefighters are already struggling to contain the spreading fire. You manage to slip past the police and run inside. You make your way inside the exhibition hall as your skin gets charred. The last thing you see is Ethotu, finally breaking free from its marble casket. You've perished. Cause of death. Perished in the Hecatomb. Level 4. Difficulty. Cultist. Equipped. Steak knife and nothing else. Incoming doom. 101%. In this run, you've managed to solve 5 mysteries, saw 3 new events, encountered 6 new enemies, didn't unlock any new achievements. Thank you for watching. I have been James, and the game has been World of Horror. If you would like to watch some more, please subscribe. Thank you.